You see, every quiet night, every whispered betrayal, every moment they thought I was nothing. Oh, I remembered. I let it burn, let it shape me, let it mold me into something they can't ignore anymore. And now, I'm not the one in the shadows. They are, running, hiding, hoping I'll forget. But I never forget, because this isn't just payback. This is my revenge. Every silent night carried with it a weight that only those who have tasted betrayal, pain, and isolation can truly understand. The kind of silence that isn't peaceful but deafening. A void that echoes every word unsaid, every wound inflicted, and every injustice endured. The kind of night where the air feels thicker, pressing against your chest, as if daring you to breathe through the suffocating memory. And yet, it is in these nights that something begins to shift. It's not hope that rises. No, hope died long ago. It's something darker, sharper, more primal. It's revenge. Not the reckless, mindless kind, but a calculated, unrelenting force that grows stronger with each passing moment of silence. Do you know what it's like? To scream into the void and hear nothing but the echo of your own despair. To reach out, only to find emptiness where support should have been. To have your heart shattered, your trust broken, and your very soul questioned by those who were supposed to stand by you. They mocked your pain, turned their backs, and thought you'd crumble under the weight of it all. But they forgot something. Silence is not weakness, it's preparation. The nights were my crucible. Every tear shed in the darkness forged a part of me they would never recognize. They thought they had buried me. What they didn't realize was that I was a seed, and the soil they buried me in was rich with every lie, betrayal, and insult they'd ever thrown my way. And so I grew, slowly, quietly, relentlessly. I learned the power of silence, the power of watching and waiting. There is a particular strength and restraint in letting the fire simmer instead of letting it burn uncontrolled. While they laughed, I planned. While they celebrated my supposed defeat, I sharpened my edges. While they moved on as if my pain was a footnote in their story, I wrote a new chapter, one where I rise and they fall. Revenge isn't about becoming like them, it's about showing them. What happens when they underestimate someone who's been through hell and came out unbroken? They think they understand strength because they've never truly been tested. I am the storm they thought would never come. Every silent night taught me something new. Patience became my weapon. Discipline became my shield, and clarity became my guide. When you're left with nothing, you gain everything. You see the world for what it is, a battlefield where only the relentless survive, and I am relentless. You see, they wanted me to stay down, to accept the narrative they'd written for me, but their greatest mistake was assuming I needed them to define my worth, that I needed their validation, their approval, their apologies. I don't. What I needed was the silence, because in that silence, I found myself, I found my strength, and I found the unshakable resolve to make sure they'd regret every ounce of pain they'd caused. Revenge isn't about rage, it's about balance. It's about ensuring that the scales tip back in your favor, that the universe knows you won't go quietly, that those who thought they could extinguish your light realize too late that all they did was ignite a fire they can't control. It's about ensuring that the scales tip back in your favor, that the universe knows you won't go quietly, that those who thought they could extinguish your light realize too late that all they did was ignite a fire they can't control. I began to build in the shadows, not just a plan, but an entire foundation. I strengthened my mind, body, and soul. I studied their weaknesses, their patterns, their blind spots. I turned their arrogance into my advantage. They thought I was gone, defeated, irrelevant. But in truth, I was evolving. I was becoming the version of myself they feared most. Someone who no longer cared about their opinions, their judgments, or their power. Do you know what's more dangerous than someone with nothing to lose? Someone who has turned their loss into fuel. Someone who's turned their pain into purpose. Someone who's learned that silence isn't a void, but a canvas. One where the masterpiece of revenge can be painted with precision. They'll never see it coming. That's the beauty of silence. It lulls them into a false sense of security. They'll think they've won until the very moment the ground shifts beneath them, until the very moment they realize that every step they took away from me was a step closer to their reckoning. Every silent night was a brick in the fortress I built around my soul. Every tear shed was a drop in the ocean of strength I've cultivated, and now that ocean is a tidal wave, ready to crash down on those who dared to doubt me. They'll learn that the quiet ones are the most dangerous, that the ones who endure the most are the ones who rise the highest, that the ones they tried to break are the ones who come back stronger than they could ever imagine. This is my revenge. Not just against them, but against the version of myself that once believed I needed them, against the doubts that once clouded my mind, against the fear that once held me back. I've shed all of it, and what remains is unyielding, unstoppable, undeniable. So let them laugh, let them mock, let them live in ignorance for just a little while longer, because the silence they've dismissed, the nights they've forgotten, are the very foundation of their downfall. And when the time comes, when they finally see what I've become, they'll understand the cost of underestimating someone who has endured the unendurable. Every silent night brought me closer to this moment, this reckoning, this revenge. And when it comes, it will not be loud or chaotic. It will be precise. It will be just. It will be everything they deserve and more. Because the greatest revenge isn't destruction. It's becoming everything they said you couldn't be. And I am everything. I am the storm. I am the fire. I am the silent force they can no longer ignore. This is my revenge. But revenge isn't the end of the story. It's merely the beginning of a new one. A story where I take control, not just of the narrative they tried to write for me, but of my own destiny. The scars they left behind are not marks of defeat. They are badges of survival. They are reminders of every battle I fought, every moment I refused to give up, every time I chose to rise. They thought they broke me, but all they did was awaken a part of me that had been lying dormant. The part that refuses to bow to fear, that refuses to accept limitations, that refuses to let the actions of others define my worth. That part of me is unstoppable, and it's here to stay. I've learned to turn their weapons against them. Their words meant to cut me down became the mantra that fuels me. Their betrayal meant to isolate me, taught me the strength of standing alone. Their doubt meant to weaken me, became the proof of how far I've come. They unknowingly built the very foundation of my strength, and for that I almost want to thank them. Almost. The life they tried to steal from me is now mine to reclaim. Every goal they said I couldn't achieve, I'll surpass. Every dream they mocked, I'll realize. Every limitation they placed on me, I'll shatter. Because my success is the ultimate revenge. Not just success in their eyes, but success on my terms. Living a life they can never touch, a life that stands as a testament to the fact that I was never theirs to destroy. And for anyone out there listening to this, feeling the weight of betrayal, the sting of isolation, the pain of being underestimated, know this: your silence is not your defeat. It is your preparation. Your pain is not your end. It is your beginning. Let it fuel you. Let it transform you. Let it become the fire that burns brighter than any darkness they tried to leave you in. This is not just my story, it's ours. It's the story of anyone who's ever been told they can't, they won't, they shouldn't. It's the story of rising from the ashes they thought would consume us. It's the story of becoming everything they feared we could be. So let them keep talking. Let them keep doubting. Let them keep underestimating. Because every silent night Every dark moment, every tear shed in solitude is a step closer to the day we show them who we truly are. And when that day comes, they'll wish they had stayed silent. They'll wish they had never underestimated the power of the storm. Brewing in the quiet. I am the storm. I am the fire. I am the silent force they can no longer ignore. And this is not just my revenge. This is my rise.